So I just realized my intro video is not in this laptop, so no extended countdown period. Hi. I'm doing things a little different with the webcam, not using the phone, using the laptop. Bit of a trial run for doing this. Appreciate that, Shadow. Thank you. I love boosters in general. The bike right there is TBN 3.0. That's my pride and joy. This one is my faster one, but I don't give much shit about it. By the way, how does the mic sound? I know it's going to be super echoey. I did bring down a headset with a mic on it. Problem is that for shop use, I mean, I guess this could be considered, pit crew. But anyway, you guys can tolerate the microphone echoiness. I prefer to not have the headset on. But mic is good. Which one is the bike you were talking about on Warhammer? Depends. I don't know, if I'm being honest with you. I do not know. It might have been the Busa. I don't talk much about the 10 month much, even though it's my pride and joy. Weird. The money dump, this one, the one I'm about to change the oil on. All I'm really doing to it is doing a quick teardown and changing the oil. Okay. So hard to. Better off just not watching it on my laptop, my YouTube. I'll just do it on. There we go. Got it on my phone too, so it's just easier to do chat this way. Yeah, Boost is the. I mean, they're both money pits, but the Busa is more of a money pit, without a doubt. So I don't want to go over the numbers. I don't want to go over the numbers. Not worth it. Yeah, believe it or not, this is actually a very decent lift. It's a handy hydraulic lift. And the funny part about actually no, sorry, it's not hydraulic, it's uh air powered, but not hydraulic. I just don't know what to call. You guys want to look it up, it's a handy lift. It's good. Handy. But the lift only costs like 1/3 of what the wheels cost on the bike. So yeah, we get the oil. Ames Oil, the one of the few brands that I wish I had a sponsorship with. Because I push it on everybody. And of course, OEM filter. It's a 10-hour stock red top. Yes, it is. Nobody will believe that, though. But yes, it is a stock red top. It's a 2020 motor. That bike right there. Really, Jay Leno, son? No, Art, what you're seeing is my OCD. You're seeing my OCD. Let's not talk about how much the floors cost. So there's always that argument I see, and I do believe it or not that I am like a proponent of Podium One, because I do think they're upselling the shit out of all their sim gear and stuff. But I can actively tell you that sim racing is far, 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 far cheaper than real racing. And I'm not even talking about like the sanction shit. Just the illegal stuff, the stuff you would do on your own as a hobby, is far more expensive. And is Busa be a daily? Yeah. Why that comment says pulled for review. The moderator disable this. I don't. YouTube EE says oil him up. That I can't show that comment. I don't know why. The Busa could be a daily. I just don't recommend it because it would suck. It's not comfortable. But it's got its own active cooling. It runs on pump gas. It's a big motor. You could realistically, if my ass and bones could tolerate it, I could get on this bike and ride it to California from North Carolina. I wouldn't, because I'm old. Fuck that. But I could. You can't do that on Nitro. Time to get to work. How bad do I sound when I'm far away, by the way? I should get another Boss 302. I would fucking love to. I should have just never got rid of my Boss 302. Because a standard GT model now, which mind you, a Mustang GT now is better than a Boss 302 was when I bought my Boss 302. But I'm all set with the pricing. Modern Mustang GT, I think I priced out like a premium package one, not like a special model, just like decent interior and like sports brakes and suspension, which is like pretty standard, and it's honestly not even that good compared to the aftermarket shit. It was like $65,000. I'm good. Good. Let's see. Start by taking the muffler off. Do you know Evan? Nope. Nope. Can't even ride 5 miles on Nitro. You can't even, it's not even about the mileage. It's the fact that you're going to lose the motor before anything else. Seriously, like, you guys knew, motorcycle guys that are in here, you guys knew how I felt about the use of Nitro prior to me getting out of racing. I'm even more against it now. Now I look at you as, honestly, a retard for using it. And I don't even care who that offends. Seriously, I don't give a shit if you've broken every world record in the world. That would be what the world record is. I think using that fuel on the street is retarded. That shit belongs only on a drag strip. Period. End of story. And I'm not going to argue about it. When am I going to do motorcycle podcasts again? I'll do motorcycle podcasts whenever. Give me someone interesting to put on. That's really what it comes down to. Believe it or not, I stopped doing the podcast because, and this is going to sound a little silly, maybe a little conceited, but people aren't interesting in the bike scene. There's a lot of interesting people, but it's not as easy to get them on and schedule them, especially for live. Now, pre-recorded makes it a little bit easier. But I can get any Tom, Dick, and Harry on who rides a motorcycle on a podcast, but no offense, but nobody cares. You know? Is the Busa a 7-second bike? With the right chassis setup, yes. It makes more than enough power. And by sevens, I mean like high sevens. Not at this wheelbase. It's way too short. This bike would probably go with a good rider. I am not a good rider, as you guys know. Ironically, it's the guys who are watching who's sim racing. I'm not a good rider, and I'm not a good sim racer. I'm just not good at this shit. But this stuff is this is why I don't like to set up shit in sim racing, because this is what I do for a living. But anyway, this bike as it sits with a good rider, you know, your typical jockey weight, that 120 to 140 pound jockey weight, this bike would easily be, I'd say, bottom eights even at this wheelbase, honestly. And it's short. We're only, find out. I forgot. I actually don't know because I recently shortened the bike up. That's going to be a rough estimate, obviously. Yeah, she's short. She's real short. 62 inches. 62 inches right now. That's not long at all. For at least for the straight line shit. I normally, when I race this bike, it's at 64. But honestly, I got sick and tired of dealing with tire spin or intermittent tire spin. Right this, it'll just do a wheelie. Hell, I'm not a real hobbit. Nice. I don't know what, Vader, give me, guys who are watching, if this thing senses any level of, like, cursing of any kind, it will not play your message. So, Vader, the pain in the ass comment didn't work. I don't know why. It's YouTube holding it. I never watch on my phone, so I have to wonder if let me see if it shows on stream. Yeah, no, so I wonder how many comments don't come through on stream. So if you guys are on computer right now, like for example, I'll show you guys on camera. So hold on, pull it up. Right here. Now it does show it. Oh, it's because I clicked review. Okay. So it finally did go through. Got it. Never mind. Forget what I was showing you. But on my phone, this is what it looks like. This message is held for review. Art, your message held for review. I'm allowing all of them, but you might have to refresh the stream on your end to see them, because I did on my computer and it showed up. What would I do with a ZX14? You want my honest opinion, man? And this is not to offend you, because I do think ZX14s are very, very nice bikes. The only thing I would want a ZX14R is to travel across the country and go cruising around with something that's actually pretty fast underneath me. I would never want to build one. And Vader, he's a 14 guy. He knows. The whole frame is the airbox is just dumb. I don't know what Kawasaki was thinking. Kawasaki has the H2, the ZX14, and the ZX10 as far as the competitive bikes. The ZX10 blows both out of the water when it comes to just easy to work on. It doesn't even compare. You can do a lot of nice things. You can go really, really fast with a 14, turbo 14s especially. But if I was trying to go fast with a 14, it would be with a turbo or a lot of fucking nitrous. Going on, Socrates? Keep your Fireblade. You're an OG Fireblade guy, right? because in the competitive scene, the Fireblade didn't really start till 2021 when the Triple R came out. Good bikes, they're great bikes, but in terms of like raw performance and straight line speed, the older Fireblades are not it. But I gotta start with the muffler. The muffler, AH, no R. Can't see me. But you can time me. So, one thing about race bikes is I'm always looking for ways to make them more efficient to work on. For example, I just took the pipe off. And mind you, this is only probably half of the exhaust. I have to take the fairings off to get the rest of it off. But yes, I have to completely remove my entire exhaust to change my oil on this bike right now because I'm running a tie winder, which is a side exit exhaust for slamming the bike to the ground. And that puts the primary tubes right in front of the oil filter. So I can't take the oil filter off. So, like I said, looking for more ways to make it efficient. But when it comes to changing the oil, I've gone backwards. So it's over here. I keep forgetting now. I keep looking at my computer like there's chat there. Aw, don't be mean to Ricky. He's had things tough lately. Like Honda for Ken Ryu. Leave it to Art to not have a serious comment. These bolts there are not factory; those are added. These things are notorious for ripping their fairings off. That's a great thing about Suzuki engineering is that if you go fast enough, your fairings will rip off the bike. Oh shit, bro's got a Hayabusa. Ain't seen much. A bunch of them people have it. Oh, Oil Slick. I made a Facebook account, but not for sim racing. Just so I can moderate my Facebook page, my EGR performance page. And by that, I mean temper expectations. These little clips are the most annoying. I do everything with T handles, by the way. Human torque wrench, I don't rely on power tools unless I'm really moving some stuff. Come on. Wait a minute. Side fairing off. Ultimate 26 ZXN. I'll let you know when I get one. I've never had one in the shop. Since I left the racing scene, it's incredible how many inquiries slowed down in general. It's almost like they think I quit the job of the industry. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. That's a slice under the skin already. Anyway. It's like you are my worst enemy when it comes to working on motorcycles. I don't know why I'm holding my phone up like the microphone's there. When I get bikes to work on that have been put together with power tools, half of the bolts are stripped or broken. Seriously though. That's a 4mm Allen key. This does not belong. Except movie cars and bikes. The same engine you run in the Radical SR3 is nice. Yeah, this is a big one though. When you guys are running in the Radicals, what are you guys running for size? Are they original motors or are they all hopped up on the Mountain Dew? I got you, Slick. I got you. I still take it apart with hand tools though. Yeah, it's a stock motor. And it says this is a 1596. So for reference, if those motors are stock, this motor makes about roughly 80 or so more horsepower. With all due respect, EE, you're not going to change my mind on that. I've been running AMSOIL my whole life. I have not blown a motor in a motorcycle, period. And I attribute that a lot to my good buddy AMSOIL. You're going to see the oil that comes out of this motor. It's going to look brand new. If your oil has gotten dark, you've waited way too long to change your oil. Rotella's good, but I use it as braking oil. It's very, very popular for drag racing because it's so cheap. I'm going to have to put tape on this already. Been in here for friggin' 5 minutes. Biggest you go is 1500. That's probably what, a 1507 if I had to guess. I'm a very keen proponent on actually saying what the literal dimension of the motor is. So, for example, everybody calls this motor a 1600, and it frustrates me because it's really a 1596, but that's a lot more complicated and a lot less cool to say than 1600. But that is just what people say, and it pisses me off. For example, a common engine build for a boost is a 1441. No one calls it a 1445 or a 1440. It's a 1441. So why is this a 1600 and not a 1596? I would not DSM for what it's worth, man. I would not run Motul 300V. Would not do it. Like, you can do it if you're changing your oil like you're running nitro. And by that, I mean you're changing your oil every race day. You do not leave that oil in the bike. The oil thins out way too quick. Way too quick. Why did I leave the racing scene? I was fast. Say it louder for the sim racers in the fucking back. Sorry, I didn't mean to my ego grow a little bit there, but thank you. No, because I got sick of the bullshit. Sick of the bullshit and sick of the risk of death and wasting money. Oh, missed the bolt. I joke all the time, though, that I truly don't have an ego in sim racing. People might think I do, but I don't. However, with this shit, I got a little bit of an ego. Because I can know I can back it up. Whereas in sim racing, I can't back shit up. I suck. So, people always say to me in sim racing, no, you think you're good. You're just saying that. I'm like, no, I actually know I suck at sim racing. Like, no, I suck. And I'm okay with it. I have no intention of. I would love to continue to get better, and you know, I don't want to do everything and never get better, especially anything competitive. But whatever I was going to do in racing, I've already done. So, what's the size of Samiti's jigsaw wrench on that race, CJP? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I mean, he knows, but it's not about the motor; it's about the fuel. And I'm not even going to fucking argue about that because it'll spawn another wave of bullshit in the racing scene. Ignorance is bliss. Um, 07 DJ, 07 chat. That code. Just call me gay. But the older I get, I will say, the less I pull my punches on how I talk about things because I'm pretty much all for burning bridges. And now I can change my oil. So light. So light. Titanium. Ugh. It's a salute. Gotcha. Gotcha, Mark. Salute. Oh, slick. Slick. You mean, son, you mean. I've considered tuning cars, honestly, because the bike shit is juvenile. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of adults that do this shit, but a lot of it is young people. And the young people for me are what the problem is. That's my problem with everything. The older I get, the younger they get. It's not to quote you know, McConaughey either. It's not a good thing. Remember what size it is. I didn't think it was 14. 17, son of a bitch. Yep, so the 10 has a 14 millimeter bolt. I can't remember what it is in the Lucid. Also out of shop towels, so I'm actually using like kitchen shop towels. See if I can get this to zoom in on the oil. Hold on. Camera, figure video. I'm here to my son. Camera, zoom. That's as much zoom as we got. All right. Ah, look at that. Clean oil. I can put it in another vehicle. And by the way, that's the color of the oil. That brown is not dirty oil. Race motor. There's barely any miles on that oil. The oil looks like that, and this is coming off of a magnet. What gets attracted to a magnet? Changing the oil with a cold engine? Yes. Doesn't matter how you change your oil. Just change your oil. Sure, someone somewhere is going to tell you can only change your oil when it's hot or some shit, but right now, most of the oil in this motor is sitting in the pan. Firing it back up puts all the oil up into the top of the motor, and I have to wait for it to drain out. That being said, it doesn't matter. Just change your oil. There's way too much speculation as to the proper oil change and all that jazz. It doesn't matter. Truly, it doesn't matter. Clean oil is the only oil you should put in your motor. I'm an AMSOIL fan, but at the end of the day, clean oil, that's all that matters. Keep your oil clean. If your oil comes out looking dirty, you waited way too long. This isn't really thin oil, Eagles. I mean, I don't know what you're running over there in BMW land, but 1040. My Focus runs either 530 or 540. I don't remember. But either way, what's in this is thicker than my car. That's for sure. Reality is, I didn't even need to do this oil change. I'm just doing it because it's been like a year. Sadly, this oil is over a year old. Oh, gotcha. I see what you're saying. Never mind. Never mind, Eagles. Misunderstood. Probably should have done the oil filter first, but oh well. Now, let me ask you this, guys. For all the oil changing gurus in the world, zoom this back out here so you're not staring at my weak ass back. So for all the oil changing gurus out there in the world, when you change your oil, do you reprime the motor or do you just turn it back on and let it prime itself? Are Gen 3 Hayabusas crap? No, they just have smaller cams than Gen 2s. So every other bike, so for example, World Superbike, if the bike that you are buying is not in World Superbike, emissions is mechanically going to slow it down over time. In World Superbike, they just turn them down in the tune and they do some form of noise emission to the bike. So, like, a cork in the intake side, a real gigantic cat and muffler to quiet it down. But the engine is on full send. So if you buy a ZX10, you buy a Honda, you buy a Ducati, they're still trying to get more power out of motors. But the Suzuki Hayabusa is not competing in any class. It's just a production bike for people to buy and use. So they got it to pass modern emissions by just putting smaller cams in it. So one of the, I want to say biggest mods, because the biggest mod for a boost is just build a motor. But a simple mod for a Gen 3 is to put Gen 2, which is what this bike is, Gen 2 cams in it. I don't have Gen 2 cams anymore. I got Megacycle 427s, if anybody's wondering. I don't give a shit. Who knows that? It's not a secret. Who wants to know all about the engine in this bike? I don't give a shit. What parts you want to know? What secrets you want to know? That's run of the mill. And it spray nitrous. Yeah, sure. I mean, anything can spray nitrous until you get to a point where it's too much. I don't know what the limit is. I don't want to find it. And I like naturally aspirated shit. I always preach about that in sim racing. My favorite kind of vehicles are always naturally aspirated. That's always been my hitch. I've always paid more money to go slower because I like naturally aspirated shit. I don't really go by miles. I go more so about passes. So if I go to like an event, which mind you, I don't know when I'm going to change the oil in this yet, because again, this oil, I think went wide open throttle once. The only reason I'm changing it is because it's probably collected too much dust from sitting. Now, mind you, that is a joke. If you guys don't know, oil is not collecting dust just sitting, or else your motor's got some weird issues. But the oil that's been in this motor has been in for over a year, so I figured, I'll change it. Why not? I bought oil to change it for last year. Never changed it. Oh, that's what someone earlier said. No tomorrow. To be honest with you, I don't know shit about the radicals. I don't know a damn thing about them, so I'm not even going to pretend to say yes or no or blah, blah, blah. That's what someone else in chat said, so I'll take their word for it. Can I put pegs on that? There are pegs on it. Passenger pegs? O'Toole 7. I'm sure it's fine. Clean oil. Clean oil. That's the secret, guys. When it comes to oil, clean oil. If you are, let's just say you have a production car, and you are getting anywhere near the recommended oil change window, you've waited too long. These companies, I promise you, have it figured out so you have a certain set warranty with a new vehicle, and they tell you to change your oil every set amount of time. Change your oil sooner than they recommend, trust me. Especially if you beat on it. If you race it, you no longer count miles. You count how many passes you made. Or track events or whatever. If you're doing a track day, fresh oil at the start of the track day, change your oil at the end of the track day. Don't believe me? That's fine. It's your motor. Also, secret to priming your engine. This one I ain't gonna let drain for a minute. It takes a while. The pan's easy. The pan empties real quick. But little fun secret to well, it might not be a secret, but for some people it's a secret. When it comes to changing your oil, and you are, super cautious about making sure that engine is fully primed before starting it up, crack your oil filter. So when you first put it on, the whole filling the oil filter thing is stupid, especially on a filter that's sideways. You're going to lose half the oil putting it back on anyway. Now, if it's a gravity style one, by gravity I mean you thread it up, you can put some oil in it. That's fine. But the reality is that there's always, especially on bikes, an air pocket that sits between. So if you just try and prime it, right, there's a good chance you might not build oil pressure on the starter. So take the oil filter, crack it free so air can get out. It will fill the oil galleys up with oil, push any air out of it. Don't see where the oil is dripping. Well, you might not be able to see it right now, but where the oil is dripping right now from the filter area, do not tighten the filter until oil starts coming back out of that again. And then tighten the filter, and then continue to crank the motor. Motors like these, or any motor you really care about that you know is getting abused, it's a good idea to do it. You don't have to do it, but I recommend it. Because you don't know. You don't know. This motor hasn't turned on in, I want to say a week. I turned it on last weekend. And the other option you can do is you can turn the motor on, build up a whole bunch of oil in the top end of the motor, and then shut it down, and then drain the oil. And then you probably don't have to prime it because you've already got plenty of oil still there. That's going to lubricate it at idle. I wouldn't start it on the rev limiter. That's probably not a good idea. Yeah, I have a feeling though, the reason why they did that is because in World Superbike you're allowed a cam swap. So all Suzuki has to do is put out a production cam, or sorry, not a production cam, a drop-in cam that requires no clearancing of the head or anything like that, because they did the same shit. If you actually read the specs of the 2026 motor, they bumped up everything just a little bit better, and then they put some tiny little cams in it for emissions. In World Superbike, you are allowed to do drop-in cams. And the reason why I say drop-in cams and not cams is because you can't change anything else. You can't clearance the head for big lobes, nothing. You can drop the cams in, and that qualifies for class racing in World Superbike. So if you build a badass new motor, but you need to get it through emissions mechanically, but you care about winning World Superbike, put tiny cams in it. And then in World Superbike, swap the cams. Boom! Badass new race motor. So I can tell you that the Gixxer, the 2026 and up Gixxer, I guarantee you, once guys spend a little bit of time with it, the common thing is going to be the same shit with the Busa. Dropping cams in it and leaving the rest of the motor alone. Now, Suzuki guys tend to go ham and build motors anyway. I haven't said ham in years. Ham is an acronym for hard as a motherfucker, minus the F. Hard as a mother. Anyway. What goals do I have for my Busa? Absolutely nothing. Let it sit and have it. I treat my Busa like any, you know, gun owner. It's a have it and not need it situation. Not any gun owner, but you know what I mean. A really big gun. I don't know why I'm going so nuts cleaning this because it's just going to get a mess again. Remember, don't crank that down. I'm just going to loosen it back up again. Now let's see if I can actually, so I kind of screwed up. By screwed up, I mean, I lifted up the lift without unplugging the cam position sensor. OEM position fader. That's why the exhaust is off. Am I going to be racing my bikes again? No. Not in any, if I do, it's going to be airstrip or land speed or something like that. No, I'm retired. I am absolutely retired. I am not coming. I'm all about, I will happily do motorcycle-related YouTube content, but I am no longer risking my life racing around a bunch of hooligans that don't care about dying. That ship has sailed, and yeah. Look on Instagram and YouTube and all things. Motorcycle guys active in the scene, constantly fucking dying, man. When Certified Rider died in January, that was like the nail in the coffin for me. We're talking about a dude who was my age, who was a far better rider, instinctually, talent, everything about him. If that guy died on a motorcycle, nobody is safe. Nothing. Here's the thing, just for future comments. My plans for both of my bikes is to leave them alone and save all of the money. Actively retire. The 10, here's the thing. My ZX10, for me, subjectively, is perfect. There is nothing I want to do to that bike. Stock engine bike. Here's the thing, and this happens on repeat with the ZX10. It's also another reason why I don't care to do this shit anymore. The ZX10, when I step away from racing for a little bit, or I'm not as active as I was, which right now I'm not active at all because I'm done with it. But if I'm not active, the comments and the remarks and the narrative starts, he's a has-been, he's a never was, he never was really that fast, the scene is so much faster now than it was then, blah, blah, fucking blah, 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 blah. And then I take the 10 back out to prove a point. Case in point, I went to Pensacola last September, the last time I raced anybody. Now, mind you, these are a whole bunch of good dudes that I raced. This is nothing against them. One of them is James, Grandpa. ZX10 that I tune. His bike has motorwork. Not a lot. Not significant motorwork. Very, very cookie cutter shit. And he's on MR12. MR12 is 5% more horsepower than pump gas. I only ever run pump gas because I'm a lazy bitch. Well, you guys can watch the videos on YouTube. He and many others got to see TBN race. Stock motorbike on pump gas. The narrative again switched after that from he's a has-been, he's a never was, the scene is way faster now than it was in his prime, to, oh, he's got a built motor. And then now that I'm back out of the scene, the same narrative has started again with he's a has-been, he's a never was, blah, 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 blah. This is the internet. This is the fucking internet. That's why sim racers, for those of you guys watching, if you think the sim racing scene has talked shit about me, you have absolutely no idea. Anyway, I'm not bringing the bike back out to do the exact same thing all over again. Because then when I do win the races, guess what? Oh, he's got a built motor. That bike, that ZX10, Sitting chili right there. Right there. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Right there. That guy. That guy. That guy right there. That guy. That guy. Has not left the garage since I raced it in Pensacola. The fairings haven't been taken off of it. I wiped it down, and it's been sitting in the shop ever since. I have no interest in doing a damn thing, except maybe changing the oil. I don't think I'm going to do drag strip, Trev. If I ever do anything with the Busa, it's going to be land speed level racing, or at the very least, half mile to a mile airstrip event. But so if I had to, have a goal with this bike, it would be to, like, if I'm going to do something with this motor, I'm going to go to like the Bonneville salt flats, and I'm going to leave oil all over the salt flats. That's my goal. But this whole racing Tom, Dick, and Harry thing for nothing, that's just the results of that race are going to expire inside of a week. I'm good with that shit. I'm done with it. For me, I need to do something that means something to me. And racing the fastest dude of the month means dog shit to me. Because I've been racing motorcycles for 12 years, and it's the same thing. Every year there's a new badass in town who thinks because he's 120 pounds and he's had a little bit of success on a motorcycle that he's the guy to beat. And then reality kicks in. And a bunch of people who've been around for a while just care a little bit and end up beating them. But that I don't care about that part of the scene anymore. I want to do something that's memorable to me. Like, I watch movies like World's Fastest Indian, which if you haven't seen World's Fastest Indian, please go watch the World's Fastest Indian. That's the type of shit that I want to leave behind if I do anything. Is something like that for me. Something that means something to me. EE, probably 5 to 8 horsepower more. Not a lot of horsepower comes from the bottom end. They did recently do the max and mile, I believe. I did miss it. I was too busy sim racing. Yeah, I don't grumps. I do not like ride. If you think I have a lot to say about sim racing, you should see what I have to say about the ride series. And I've ridden most of the motorcycles that are in ride. Here's the thing, Arturo, nothing's ever going to stop me completely from getting on my, but like, if I got a buddy around who was a friend, like if Rowdy lives 5 minutes from me. If Rowdy wanted to take his BMW out on one of the evenings out onto the highway and just see what it had for, like, say, TBN or something, I would do that in a minute. Do that in a heartbeat. Wouldn't care. But like, if that will be used against me as to why I don't go to these massive events where people get arrested, get killed, all this shit, I'm sorry. You're not going to hold anything over me. But I appreciate that, Arturo. Thank you. Would I sell either of my bikes? I would never sell the 10, ever. I'm either going to die on the 10 or I'm going to live on the side of the road under a bridge in a cardboard box with the ZX10 next to me still. The Busa, I wouldn't sell outright. I would part it out. If I knew I was truly done with the bike, I would part it out and sell it. I would not sell it outright. I'd get more money parting it out. And I don't like selling things that I've built, if that makes any sense. I feel like I'm selling, I don't want to say secrets, it's the wrong term, but like all of the effort, all of the trial, all of that stuff, I'm just selling with the money. And that is valueless in terms of money. So it's not valueless in terms of the industry, but it's valueless in terms of money. So for me, my pride would get in the way. I would not sell a complete bike. I would sell it in parts. Grumps, I don't. Here's the thing. I can't even figure out the turning and ride. It's 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 so arcadey, and that's the thing. I like. So many people were excited about the motorcycle that Track Racer put out, and their new sim. I looked at it quick. I had no interest in it. I had zero interest in it because so much of riding a motorcycle in real life relies on G forces. Cars, you get a lot of information from G forces, but a sim, four corners, four tires, there's a lot you can reproduce in a sim rig that will make you a better driver in real life. There is nothing you're going to learn about a motorcycle outside of reading. Like, you could go on Wikipedia and read about motorcycles and learn just as much as you're going to learn on that sim in a game like Ride. Purely for fiction, you know? Mustafa, you're better off asking someone like Carpenter that. Carpenter builds engines for a living. Makes TBN so fast. Over a decade of trials and efforts. The valueless shit, money wise, is what it is. Why I can't sell you knowledge. There's no physical thing to give you. But I could put together TBN 100 times on 100 bikes. Obviously with an open checkbook, of course, because nothing's free. The point is I could build that bike overnight in my sleep. Yeah, every time it comes out, it gets accused of something different. So it's one of those things with experience, you know? Like, for example, you might think you can, but you can't build a house or a kitchen. You're not an architect or a carpenter because you have some nails and a hammer. So, like, maybe that sounds like I'm glazing myself, but I don't give a shit. I am. It's the same thing with someone who paints. Anybody with some level of talent, you are diminishing their talent by, and I'm by you, I don't mean you or anybody in chat. I'm speaking generally. Um, like, I can go buy some paint. I can go buy some paintbrushes. I can buy a canvas. I'm never going to be Michelangelo, you know? No, I'm not comparing myself to Michelangelo. I'm just saying the same shit. I can't sell, Michelangelo can't sell his talent. I'll be selling the reputation of the bike, exactly. Not to mention the ZX10 would get completely butchered and ruined by whoever buys it. That bike's a full stock fairing bike. OEM plastics, OEM tank, headlights, tail light. That bike, for what's funny is that bike, the way it looks right now in like 2019, 2020, was considered a full-blown race bike. How can you even street ride that thing? Now in 2026, you buy bikes like that from the dealer. So, yeah. Anyway, um, speaking of talent, I gotta lower the bike because I fucked up. All right, this is a pain in the ass. You guys got a Gen 2 or a Gen 1 Busa, unplug the cam position sensor, the motor will not fire. Some bikes still will. Yeah, that was easier than normal. Means I'm wearing out the plug. Sweet. Basically, I put oil in first. Can't prime an engine with no oil in it. All right, time to put oil in it. This might be the longest oil change I've ever done. Oh, I want to see if I can show you this. I remember I had this conversation in chat one day, and I think Eagles was there with me in Discord. I was laughing because I'm like, "What is this bump? This adjustment on system? Oh no, we're live tracking. Oh no, I've activated live tracking. What is it? Is it this? Oh, it is that. Oh, that's cool. All right, now I know the actual button on it that makes it live. So anyway, let me show you this. I was laughing because in Forza, it was I think it was bump and like rebound for suspension adjustment. I'm like, what the fuck is bump? Is that supposed to be compression? And apparently that's like the norm, the sim racing norm. It's called bump. That's retarded. I want to show you why. If you think sim racers know more about suspension than Penske, where is it? Right there, Penske. What does that adjustment say? Come on, focus, you stupid son of a bitch. All right, is it my hands? Hold on. You can make that out, right? That says compression. Doesn't say bump. It says compression. Fucking video games making shit up now as if it's fact. Anyway. I guess we'll try out the now's a good time to do the active follow thing. Okay. Good enough. Uh Technology. Pretty good. Kev. Trev. No, I'm referring to in Forza and in a lot of games, it refers to the physical adjustment of compression, the dampening adjustment of the shock, as bump. Not bump stop. Those are different. Bump stop is the limitation of how much the actual suspension can collapse or compress. But it's called compression. I have never, in any car world, in any bike world, heard, oh, did you adjust bump? I'm sorry, what? Compression? Yes, I did that. But bump? Never heard that. Bump stop? Yes, bump stop is a term. You know? And I can see why in a video game they would correlate bump stop and bump. Bump being the travel down, compression, and the bump stop. Because that's what it is doing. A bump stop is stopping the compression of your suspension. So it's limiting it to a certain range. But at least in drag racing, anyway, with cars, a lot of times we just remove the bump stops. But you have a dialed in suspension, obviously, or else you would just bottom the tire out or the suspension out completely and the spring, you coil bind essentially. But if you had proper suspension, bump stops were. Now, obviously, in road racing, that's a very different story. That was just an example of a scenario where you would remove them. But yeah, that shit like that drives me nuts. Anyway, oil time. I've lost the camera. Hi, welcome back. I'm just gonna do this. Turn you off. Rotate. I gotta say, this webcam looks badass in terms of the quality of it. The same webcam I use for streaming, by the way. All right. He's the best spot. Yeah, this oil is literally the exact same color. Oh, that's funny. Guys don't have any questions? Y'all just died all at once. Oh. Work's overrated. No. I have the standard lightweight drag shot. I have it because it's lightweight. Yeah, Kev. Why don't I keep calling you Kev? It says Trev and Ken combined. Yes, Trev, I am going to start. This one I have to start, but all right. So sensor is disconnected. Right here. I crack the oil filter free, and I spin the motor with the starter, obviously. Well, I guess you could do it manually too, but that's a lot harder. Until the oil starts to piss out the oil filter. And then I cut it. Oh, so short. Go. All you do. Crank the filter down and then continue to prime the motor. Ah, son of a bitch. Watch him break it live. Don't you put that on me. You have any idea how much this motor costs, sir? Please do not put that juju into the world. All right. Now, I'm going to wash my hands first because they got a little bit of schmutz on them and titanium exhaust and all. Now we put the exhaust back on. And then I continue to prime it. And then I'll fire it up. I'm short, but I'm not that short. I'm going to temporarily put the exhaust on because that takes the exhaust off to take the fairing off. But just for the sake of starting it up, priming it obviously. All right, I'm going to mute the webcam for a second here just so I can run my compressor. And it's going to be loud as shit. All right. I just primed the motor while it was blasting the compressor. Miserable, miserable weather. Hey, look, race cars. Here you go, Trev. Here you go. Race car. Race car, Trev. Race car. Dirty as shit race car, but race car nonetheless. Wife's race car. That ST is older than these bikes by a good bit. The Boost is originally a 2020. The 10 is originally a 2016. And the Focus is a 2015. Old. All right, here we go. I'm going to check the drain plug here. No, I know we're good. Fire up. Double check one thing. Good. Helps to plug in the cam position sensor. Okay, plug in. Exhaust is rattling. I don't feel like hearing that, so put the rest of these clamps on. All right, do that again. Microphone go down. Still nothing. All right, let's try and figure this out. Can it hear me right now? Normally? Can I speak quietly? Quietly. Quietly. Let's just remove the noise gate. All right. There's no noise gate. It's completely removed. All right, so let's see. Let me know if you guys can hear this, because now I removed the noise gate. So at this point, the only thing left is the actual microphone on the webcam is just peaking the whole time. that's lame. Let me try, hold on. Let me try one other option. Properties. Let's try this microphone. All right, so this is the laptop microphone. How does this sound? My voice difference. This is the laptop microphone. Is it any different? My voice. All right, so let's try now. And that humming sound is the fan I have going right now, by the way. So I guess I could, overall, hold on, let me go over here. How does my voice sound over here? Which sounds better as far as picking up my voice around the shop? You're probably going to get a lot more echo out of the laptop microphone. Zane, not anymore. I'm in the 160s now. I got as light as 142. But I'm working on stabilizing a happy medium in there somewhere. It's more clear. Yeah, the echo is only going to get worse when I shut the garage. But I'm letting it air out. What sounds better, though, when I'm far away? The webcam definitely has built-in noise cancellation. That's why you couldn't hear the bike. Because I had noise cancellation on in Streamlabs as well. But it was the same settings as when I run my SM7B microphone on the rig. You guys want to hear the ZX10 as well? I don't know. I gotta see if I have fuel on the ZX10. Hold on. I think I do. All right, let me move this stuff here. Ouch. Just think of that wall. This should be steel, right? Ah, look at that. That might be better. Look at that. Great thing about this webcam is it's got a magnetic base. So anything steel it sticks to. Hold on. All right. Where were we? Phone. Seeing double? No, there's a booster back there. Alright, fire up the ZX10 now. This one might actually not start. Small battery, I have not put a charger on in a long time. Alright, she's got plenty of fuel. All reliable. About as good as the idle gets on the ZX10s. ZX10s, why they don't really care about motor work, they got some chunky cams out of the box. That's about as smooth as it's going to get for idle. You haven't even heard the ZX10 yet. It's just idle. Do a kickflip. Here, hold on. Not a kickflip, bud. Here you go. Clown show. Let's see where we're at temperature. Alright, we can throw a little rev at it. Oh, 100% sealed motor, Zane. OEM cams. No thin head gasket. Nothing. Yeah, Zane, that's a bone stock motor. Like, I mean, but like truly bone stock, not the internet stock bullshit. Like, actually stock. The closest thing to modified is it has a Gen 6 transmission in it because it's a Gen 5 motor, obviously. But you can, these motors, you don't have to split cases to do transmissions. And it's got a Gen 4 oil pan. That's it. So which do you guys like the sound of better? The Busa goes about 11.5 for well, the rev limiter is at 12,000, but it makes power to about 11.5. The Busa's rev limiter is at 15,000, technically 14.8, but I bump it to 15,000 if it ever does go on race fuel. But it only makes power till about 14 or so, 14.2-ish. I shift it through the gears at about right about 14.1, 14.2. But the rev limiter is there just to make finish lines. I make people understand when they request a 15,000 RPM rev limiter that there is a, you know, opportunity for valve float on a tired motor. You shouldn't be spinning it there, like, through the gears, without a doubt. The only reason I have it like that is so that when I run aggressive half-mile gearing, I can make the finish line without being on the limiter. That's it. No, I haven't had a Gen 4 transmission in a long time. This motor never had a Gen 4 transmission. The last one did. This is not obviously the original motor. The original motor was a 16 motor that did get some motor work done to it. And then I sold that one and got a stock 2020 motor. Well, the first bike Trev makes a lot more power. The Busa makes a lot more power than that. The 10 is 345 pounds, and the Boost is 375. Is this Real Racing 3? What's it at? Relocate. It's like that chase game. Whoa! Oh! Vlog style. That'd have been better for oil changing. Son of a bitch. Gotcha, Hambone. Ha, ha, ha. I tried. All right, now I gotta check the oil level, which is fairly simple. Oh, we got plenty. We're Gucci. Probably lock the lift, huh? Whoop. There we go. Grant, that is a big part of it, yes. Big part of it. There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of reasons. One, I'm basically Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon. I'm just too old for this shit. Yep, up and coming. The streetcar takeover scene is death on wheels. I'm good. You know? Yeah, who's vlog style? Is this the confessional part where I do documentary style conversation? All right, hole in the ground or in the gutter? Usually let the local garbage pickup figure that out on their own. I mean, they're called waste management, right? They're supposed to manage that shit. How's the new Gen 6 motors? Haven't gotten one yet, Zane. Haven't gotten one. The wireless clip-on, yeah. I do agree. 2019-2020 was peak racing. The scene sucks now. It's garbage. I'm not even scared to admit it. It's the racing scene in motorcycles right now is total dog shit. It's all about who's going to lie and cheat more. That's all it is. There's no standards of any kind anymore. Like, the best way I can explain it now in modern day street racing is it's basically comparable to racing in video games, and everybody has access to different hacks. It's just dog shit. If I'm going to deal with hacks, I'm going to deal with the ones in video games. Now, believe it or not, the year that I've spent out of the scene has like opened my eyes up to it more and more, and how much I just don't enjoy it. And I hadn't been enjoying it for years prior to it. Prior to getting out of the scene, I had not been. Every year, I'm like a candle in the wind right now in terms of if I'm going to be able to come back and enjoy it. And every year, I like it less and less and less. So here we are. So let me ask you this, guys. Obviously, motorcycle people would prefer more content like this. What about the guys who are here from sim racing? Do you guys like seeing garage, real-esque motorsport content, or do you prefer the digital stuff only? Yeah, for sure, Brant, for sure. Because, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm kind of getting fatigued in sim racing right now. It will pass. It will pass. But I need a break from it for sure. But the thing is that where it was really bad with the bike stuff is that I can't die in the sim. It's being sim. I just turn it off when I'm done. Whereas in motorcycles, I mean, certified rider, all the guys since, there's always somebody dying in the motorcycle scene. It's not worth it. Well, we know, Trev, I know your opinion for sure. I appreciate you sharing it. You're all about this stuff. Who's the catfish from this? I think I want to say yes, and then it's, I don't know the last most recent time. I know if you're talking about the turbo bike, it's always broken. I could never build a turbo bike. I'm good. Absolutely good. I'd have to be a literal millionaire to want to go down the rabbit hole of building a turbo bike. Because you're constantly blowing shit up. It's just part of the game. It's part of the game. And it's a game I don't want to play. Like, alright. So, sim racers, in terms of affordability, this motor in this bike, for reference, it's assuming you have a motor that's healthy and running and not damaged,
right? This motor, to get this build out of, when I did it 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, was just under $16,000. You have to have a motor. So imagine spending that kind of money on, say, a turbo motor, and then the turbo system, and then blowing it up all the fucking time. All the time. Because that's what they do. And that's not even the most expensive motor go. That's just an example. Now, you could arguably save a little bit of money on the motor when you build a turbo bike, because you're not necessarily trying to make power out of the motor, you're trying to make the motor strong, because you're making all the power boost. But the point is that this shit, in a sim, let's just say you took the same $15,000 and you didn't have a computer, you didn't have a sim, you didn't have a game console, you had nothing. This motor pays for my entire computer, my entire sim, the panels, everything. And it doesn't break. It doesn't kill me. Mind you, it's not a motorcycle. It's not the real thing. But I'm going to have a whole hell of a lot more stress-free fun for that dollar amount than I am with this motor. Equivalent to building an expensive sim rig and while racing, the whole thing catches on fire. Exactly. And then you could also die in the process. Imagine you're in your sim, it's all set and done, it's a nice, bougie, expensive setup. You get to turn one at Monza, and somebody behind you hits you and puts you in the wall. Now imagine your sim catches on fire, the whole thing incinerates, and you at the very least have to go to the hospital. Direct fit equals no. Modified, yes. But for what it's worth, the 2017 and up Gixxer motors have become the new Busa motors in terms of modified, in terms of what they're doing. All of the industry right now in engine building for motorcycles, for what we do anyway, is heavy focus on. They've kind of stopped with the Busa stuff and they focus more on the Gixxer 1000, because the Gixxer 1000 has become more of an E2 bike than the Busa ever was. So they just go where the money is, and I mean it's the right decision. Everybody's buying one particular kind of bike and wants engine building for that particular kind of bike. It makes sense to innovate in that department. So for example, in the ZX10, so from 2011 to 2027, which they're not out yet, but they will be, from 2011 to 2027, you can make the argument that the ZX10 motor is the equivalent to an LS motor. Same cases, same overall design, most things are interchangeable, everything is pretty much the same. Now everything's gotten a lot better throughout those years. Better cylinder head, better camshaft, better bottom end componentry, but ultimately it all can be bolted together. So we've had the advantage, by we I mean just the X10, has had the advantage of 6 years more time to get innovative with engine work. And yet, 6 years later, the Gixxer immediately took over. And it's the bike to do it for engine building. Now, stock motor, ZX10s, in my opinion, for at least in the JDM front, are the kings. Ducati and the new, well, I guess technically the Honda is a JDM. The new CBR Triple R is does make a little more power than the ZX10. So I want to say that Gixxer motors have gotten up to almost 1300 cc. So they start at the 998 or the 999, I can't remember which is which. Either the ZX10 or the ZX, one of them, The Gixxer 1000 and the ZX10, one of them's a 998, one of them's a 999. I think the Gixxer is a 998. But the Gixxer is the go-to bike for building that. Four mil offset, 10 mil crank. I want to say they've got bigger than that on the crank. But again, when you can go to a website, I tell people this all the time. When you can go to a website and choose a certain size crankshaft to order, you are getting the hand-me-down innovation. They've been there, they've done that. They're on bigger shit now behind the scenes. All the guys making money grudge racing, like the big teams, like DME, all of these huge teams racing, they have the stuff that you can't go to a website and buy. That's the racing industry. Any kind of weaponry, anything like that. If you can go on a website and talk about it, that's not the latest. The latest is always behind the scenes. Yeah, like anything else, everything is becoming unaffordable, motorcycles included. You know? It's a shame. This thing cool enough yet for me to wipe? Yeah, a little bit. That's cool. Got the fairings off. Might as well do a little wipe down, since the thing doesn't get rid of it anyway. Yeah, Grant, if I ever did do a car again, it would be track focused, without a doubt. I would never, I've already told myself, like, even my current interest, I have no interest in road racing a bike, and I have no interest in drag racing a car. So for me, it would be the opposite for each. Motorcycles would be primarily for straight line racing, and cars would be primarily for circuit racing. And I'd love to build one, it just comes down to money, time, and effort, you know? My whole thing with me is I have to look at everything from a financial aspect in terms of, can I spend money on something and use it down the road to make me money? So like, if I got into building my own circuit street car, could I use that time and knowledge and money to build other people's cars for income? I think I got started with bikes, you know? So for me, a big justification, like that's a big part of why I want to tune cars. But I'm not going to tune someone's car I'm not going to experiment on someone's car, is what I want to say. I also hate that I have a leaking fork seal. Anyway. Yeah, exactly, Eagles, exactly. I mean, for what it's worth, like, I still, like, it's funny. I want to build a badass LS engine and just have it in the shop. Not even necessarily put it in something, just have like this you know, big dick energy, massive, naturally aspirated LS motor just sitting in the corner with all the latest and greatest shit just to say I got it. But obviously that's a lot of money, so I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I don't know why this thing has a leaking fork seal because the forks are relatively new and I don't ride a bike. They're the original forks, but they're from 2020. This bike has, I want to say those forks have like maybe 2,500 miles on them. Maybe. I do not ride. It's probably my own fault. Because they are lowered, and I did lower them. I don't know why though. So, obviously, I did some damage to the seal, which I don't know how because they didn't completely come apart. Or it's just dumb bad luck. I have no luck, so it could very much be dumb bad luck. But I internally lowered the forks, so they're not cut. But basically, you take out the bolt out of the bottom, you take the cap off, you pull out the internals. You don't touch where the seal is. Put the new cartridges in, fill them up, pump them, bleed them, seal it back up. No idea why it's leaking. It didn't start till after I did that. But I just don't know how it would have gotten damaged because it didn't come apart where the seal was. Jump. Worst customer story? Jesus Christ, I have those weekly. Oh man, I couldn't even tell you. I have there's a reason I don't turn wrenches on people on customer bikes anymore. I just tune. Ever since is the common, whenever I hear a conversation from a customer or a potential customer that's coming from somebody else, the conversation starts with, ever since, I already know it's a bad sign. Ever since I paid so-and-so to do so-and-so, this thing is now a problem. Ever since you tuned my bike, I constantly have a flat tire. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I've had guys blame me for things. So here's the thing, I don't ride customer bikes. I used to. I don't ride customer bikes anymore. I've had guys blame me for things that went wrong with their bike during the tuning session that had nothing to do with what I was doing. Like, for example, if you're riding your motorcycle during a tuning session, which requires you to go out and ride your bike on the street, and you run over a nail, I am not responsible for that nail. Especially when it's not my fucking driveway. But I'll get blamed for that. Oh man. Anyway, alright, let me get a fairing. Also, speaking of aerodynamics, look how much turbulence that side fairing just covered up. And 3 p.m. docket. Yeah, if you think I have a lot of bad shit to say slick about sim racers and sim racing, I'm 10 times worse about people in the industry that I work in. Trust me. I am the definition of that dude in his rocking chair with a shotgun on his front porch. Miserable as fuck. I wouldn't say I'm miserable as fuck. I just whinge. tell you one thing though, it is true what they say. You gotta get yourself a good woman if you want to stay sane. I mean like a good one. I've had plenty of bad ones. Trust me. Trust me. When is my first land speed event? No idea. No idea. I have absolutely zero interest in going to Vegas and racing there on the street in September. Zero interest. Like less than zero interest. It's a collection. I'm sure there's going to be some really, really cool dudes there that I love to have conversations with, but there's going to be a lot of douchebags too that I don't want to deal with either. Well, the Vegas one is a half-mile street event. Don't get me wrong, it looks like an absolutely badass road, and I'm sure it's the best. If street racing is going to evolve to anything, it's that kind of spot. I mean, it's in the middle of the desert. Like, imagine the original Fast and the Furious. What was the name of the event they went to in the desert? When Jesse lost the Volkswagen? Or he was supposed to lose the Volkswagen? I want to say Shift Sector, but Shift Sector's real. I know it's not Shift Sector. Race Wars, that's right. Fucking Christ. I should have known Race Wars. Jesus Christ. Anyway, it looks just like that. But, you know, it's a public road. Middle of nowhere, though. It's pretty cool. It looks really, really, really cool, honestly. But it's all the way across the country for me. I have no interest in participating. I'd love to go and watch, but there's also going to be too many people there that I just don't have interest in seeing. And it's going to cost me a shit ton of money, a shit ton of time. I wouldn't be flying, I'd be driving, so yeah. I choose the high road or the low road or whatever. You're on a PMR Discord timeout? Well, that's because you go in there guns blazing, Brooks. What do you expect? I would personally just not be in the Discord, honestly. I hate Discord. Discord's like Facebook with a new version. It's the same shit. Drama, drama, drama. Drama, drama, drama. Oh yeah, like I said, Slick, I am back on Facebook, but only as to keep tabs on my Facebook page, my business page. Because I had other admins for it, but I decided to jump back on. What I'm trying to say is add me, buddy! And then I can tell you when I'm going to be doing actual shit that's not on stream. Since, you know, somebody can't get Discord, aka Facebook 2.0. Yeah. Move this to yonder. Let me go do the other side quick. More than you can afford, pal. Hayabusa. Junk. Whole lot of junk. Bicho. Here, let's see if this sounds better. Hold on. Let's turn the fan off. Now, no mods in the future. These bikes are, I'm just not spending any more money on bikes. That ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. It sucks too because, like, I will say I'm far more interested in sim racing from a hobby standpoint than any form of real racing at the moment. That could always change. But at the moment, that's where I'm at. But if I do ever get motivated to race again, it will be at some land speed event of some kind. Shortest distance I'll go will be half mile, but that will be again still at like an airstrip or something sanctioned. I'll probably do something on the street at some point with the 10, but it would be super private with just people I know. Cannot do this on this side. Ugh. Well, I can tell you, Grumps, that they do play the game. But at the end of the day, there's not enough of them. What they genuinely need to do is they need to hire, or by hire, at least get like so kind of like do like what they did with the factory driver program, the original one, but do something like that again for testing. You know, you're not gonna really get paid because I mean, if that was the case, they would hire actual employees, but it would be essentially pro bono workers who are just want to help with the game because there will be more than a bunch of people that will be willing to help with the game, and you know, they'll obviously have early access information, but that's how they have to do it because there's just not enough of them. And the reality is that if they're playing the game, they're not coding the game, and if they're coding the game, they're not playing the game. So the reality is one person can only do so many things, and when you don't have enough employees, you need to have more. So that is the unfortunate reality of Project Motor Racing. I think they're far more open to that than you think, Grumps. Because trust me, I might not say things aggressively on stream because I'm not there to put on a show for people. when it comes to that. But behind the scenes, the things that I say is far more aggressive. Like the other day, I told Sora, and I very much like Sora, but I said, listen, take your time with the next update. If there's bugs, fix the bugs before the update releases because no one's playing the game anyway. The game is currently in a dead state. So why rush out an update that's half-baked? Finish an update, even if it takes another month. I don't give a shit, you know? But I can tell you that if the game sits in the current state for another month, it's not going to get any worse because nobody's playing it. But if they release an update that has problems in it, that gets people to come back, and then immediately they bounce in a week again, well then you wasted the opportunity for the update, you know? So for me, take your fucking time, even if it takes a month, I don't give a shit. But the next update, in my opinion, is very, very crucial to the game's recovery, and if it does or does not recover. If the next update falls on deaf ears again and no one cares about it, and it's the same bullshit it's been, I'm actually starting to genuinely believe that the game is doomed. But that's just my opinion, that's just my take. The part that I think sucks more than anything, though, about Project Motor Racing is truly just how good it could be, because I'm sorry, but the industry itself, it just sucks. There's a reason why I have access to every game and I stare at my menu simulator and don't know what to do, because I'm so exhausted with all the frustration and incompleteness that is in sim racing. Forza is annoyed as I am at Forza that there's kind of nothing to do once you do all the single player stuff. At least feels like a finished game, and in that aspect it's refreshing. But that's about where the buck stops right there. Pick your favorite sim. I'll find 100 different things wrong with it that are from an incomplete standpoint that people will ignore because it's their favorite one, you know? PMR's in a rough state, but they all are. I will say PMR works the worst in terms of its functionality, but God, it still has the best driving. I will argue that till the day I die. Well, maybe not the day I die, but that's a bit much. But currently, I think PMR is the farthest along from a realistic and enjoyable and most convincing driving experience. Even though a lot of people hate it. Because here's the thing, if you like iRacing, if you like LMU, as far as its driving, then I can understand why you don't like PMR. They don't drive the same. But every car I've ever driven doesn't drive like anything I've ever driven in LMU or iRacing. There are many, many aspects of PMR that I go, yup, a real car does that. Shit, even Forza Horizon has aspects of its driving that is far more realistic than a lot of these die-hard sims. Now, obviously not like the bullshitty fucking arcade stuff where you drive through the woods and crash. Obviously that's all video game. But I'm talking about what the car does when you control it. It's just frustrating that an arcade game, you know, does things better in a lot of aspects than these sims that are supposed to be the real deal. It just pisses me off. Trust me, I wish iRacing had realistic driving. I wish it did, because it would be all I'd play. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Believe it or not, in my opinion, the biggest reason why games like PMR need to do better and they need to succeed is because games like iRacing exist, where they can milk you for every little dime and get away with it because they're a monopoly. By the way, you guys can hear my whinging right now, right? That's all audible. I'm just working on the bike on this side and I don't feel like moving the camera, so. Almost done now. Alrighty. Bike is officially done with the oil change. That was the longest oil change in the history of motorcycle oil changes. That's why you should change your own oil and not bring work to me. Just have me tune. Let's see. Have you gotten into the island standalone stuff? Oh, I have a max ECU here, but honestly, Grant, my thing is I don't feel like dealing with the wiring and the hooking shit up, but I absolutely want to learn the software. I've gotten really lazy, Grant, admittedly. New Halo coming out, could be a nice break from The Sims. I don't know. I personally, I haven't been into Halo since like Halo 2. GMC Big Block, no sir. I don't really turn wrenches on people's bikes anymore. I just tune. I can tune it. I'll happily tune it. If you want to bring that motor to Carpenter and have them build you a badass motor or something like that and you need someone to tune it, I will absolutely tune the bike. But nope. Big fat nope to working on it. Well, Grumps, it's a very easy answer for that. The art team does not do the physics, and the physics team does not do the art. So it's not like every single person at Straightforward, or any company for that matter, does the same thing. Like they don't all know how to do every little bit of code, you know? They know how to do certain things, and then that's their job. You know? When someone's building a house, the plumber doesn't put up the foundation. The guy swinging the hammer, building the structure of the house out of wood, you know, doesn't do the plumbing. The guy with the plumber, if he's done with his job, will sit there with his thumb up his ass, staring at the other guy to get his job done. But, you know me, my biggest complaint with PMR for months now has been collisions. I think second to collisions is probably the overall netcode foundation. But at the end of the day, though, when you have really, really like gross, meshy collisions offline, the netcode has nothing to do with that. So if it's broken at its core, it's only going to be worse when there's ping and netcode in between people playing. So that's why you see all the videos you see of all the crazy shit that looks like it's out of a sci-fi horror movie or some shit, you know? But the next update, hopefully will move the collision needle forward and make it better. But, again, I'm in no rush to get it. Yes, I am like everybody else. I want it right now because I want to go back to enjoying the game. But I also know that if the worst thing about my impatience is having to wait, then I'll wait. Because what's going to be worse is me being impatient and getting a game that's incomplete still, and me going right back to, I'm not, like right now, I almost jumped on ranked PMR today, and then I was like, wait, fuck that. That's horrible, horrible decision. I'm gonna go work on the actual thing that makes me, you know, go fast. But I didn't even have to do this oil change. I've been wanting to, but I didn't need to. I was gonna race it probably one more time or do a couple pulls on it and then change the oil, but I don't know when I'm gonna do that, so. Let's see. You said toolbox tour. Well, there's not a whole lot to it, but we'll give it a shot. I'm a Milwaukee guy. It's a Husky toolbox, so nothing special there. Hold on. Ugh. This is my favorite drawer. I like Milwaukee. gas, more Milwaukee, sockets, miscellaneous bullshit, hammers, clamps, garbage, slide hammer. This is a custom made, waste of money. This is if you ever want to buy a Roaring Toys swing arm and you need to press in the bearings that are not pressed in by them. My buddy made this tool, so all you gotta do is put a wrench on both sides and just walk the bearing in from each side. I've only used it once in 5 years that I've had it. More Milwaukee. No, I gotta go through this and just clean. Stab joint. We got stickers, tuning harnesses, log boxes, all this crap. More stuff up there. Punches. Miscellaneous wrenches of some stuff kind. Got to clean up the end of a pipe that you just cut or something like that. Reaming tool. Spanner wrenches. More wrenches of various kinds. Random stuff in here. Still the one and only mock-up for the Nike symbol bracket for the ZX10. The one that Aleafs is currently still selling is the wrong one. Don't buy it. I have the only custom set. It's my design. It's right here. This is the stencil. No one's reproduced it. Still the only one, and it's on that bike. Right there. Random shit. Carbon blocks. Don't use them. I have one functioning. Oh, that's the one right there. Took damage from my crash. Carbon fiber. Oh, a lot of random shit in here. Yep. You know what I have more wrenches and garbage, compression tool, bags. Oh, Craftsman. This is the whites. Sanding paper, all that. Yep. Yep. Because I live in farmland, can never have enough of that. These are pretty cool. Chris Wynn makes these. These are extremely dense foam for airbox seals to replace the factory ones that are garbage. It's a dead mosquito. Yeah. Anyway. Oh. So I might go upstairs. Ooh, should I do a gaming room tour? Or is that lame and narcissistic? As much as I do like being in the shop, I like being in the gaming room / movie room far more than anything else. If I can go anywhere in my house, that's where I choose to go. I will say, I wish more guys that were into motorcycle stuff that I have a history with would get into the sim racing stuff. When did I stop building bikes? I've slowly over time stopped turning wrenches on customer bikes because I just don't want to deal with customer bullshit. And honestly, for what it's worth, little insight on business here, tuning pays a lot more. Based off of time. The amount of time it takes to tune versus the amount of time it takes to work, tuning is a better route. And the older I get, the more I'm about time versus money. So for me, if I can work 15 to 20 hours a week max and make a comfortable living, I prefer to do that over working 40 to 60 hours a week and then potentially making 3 times as much money to go and waste doing random shit. I value time more than anything else. Everybody else values money so they can buy shit. There's a reason why I drive an 11-year-old going on 12 years old Focus as my only, well, I shouldn't have my only car. We have a truck too, but that's a 2014 Silverado. That's not exactly an expensive truck. Point is though, is that there are things that I sacrifice to live comfortably rather than have to work all the time. Some people love having the latest and greatest vehicle and all this shit and that and the other thing. I can't. I'm good. I'm good. My Focus still runs. We're good. Whatever happened to White H2? Jesus. That was forever ago, man. That was like 2018, I think. That was almost 10 years ago. I have no idea where that bike is. You have to understand, my business has been around longer than a lot of the people that have been in the scene. So in other words, people will join and then leave in the time frame. So as far as those people that came and went, there's always someone. There's a reason why I was saying earlier that there's always another like tough guy that comes around out of nowhere, that's new to the scene, that's running pretty good, that thinks he's the king of the, king shit on Turd Island. And there's always one. Some random dude will just come in out of nowhere, start talking shit to people he shouldn't talk shit to, and it's laughable because the OGs are still going to be there, and that guy's moved on. So, maybe we want to Tri-State Racing. Yep, that was the first of the 3 YouTube channel names. Tri-State Racing, then it switched over to EJR Performance, and then after many years of EJR Performance, it switched over to EJR Racing. And it might even switch over to EJR Gaming at this rate. Just because, racing is the primary thing I like to talk about, thing I like to do. Be it in sim, be it real life, whatever. It's my primary interest. But I am a sucker for a good story. There's the cinephile that likes good TV shows, good movies, things like that. There's the guy who likes single-player video games. How's Sonny? Believe it or not, I haven't talked to Sonny in probably 7 years. Maybe not 7. 5 years or so. The entire time I've been with my current wife, the woman who is my wife, I have not spoken to him once. Unfortunately. People drift apart. All right, I'm going to go upstairs. Let's get that started. I'm going to put this in my pocket. See if I can get this upstairs safely without, burning it all down. That's that. Going to school, kids. Going to school. So I'm in the hallway going from the shop to the upstairs game room. I think you can tell where I'm headed based off the hue of the room. Dun 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 dun. Dun dun. Yep, sim racing shoes. Still suck at sim racing, though. Those are the Marvel movies. miscellaneous movies. Switch and an OG. OG Game Boy. OG. And that's the wife's. Alright, let me put this laptop down. It's burning out my arm. Hood! Hood! Oh, hold on. This is the view you guys already know. Socks on the banister here, Jesus. Grabbing some water. All right, we're back. We are back. Dog. Should I just set my tea towel on for your hallway now? Mistake. Yeah, I do. I remember you. That's who I figured you were. Oh, the weird hissing sound is my toilet, Eagles. Remember, there's no noise gate. Hey, you know my, hold on. What sounds better in here, out of curiosity? This is currently my laptop. I'm going to switch over to... All right, this is the webcam. Which sounds better? This is the webcam. Laptop. Interesting. And this is the laptop. So brand says webcam, art says laptop. I guess I need more votes. This is the laptop. Change your mind? Okay. This is the webcam. What's going on, MPK? Everybody seems to like the webcam. Webcam it is. So laptop for the garage, webcam for, I mean, I don't really use the webcam in this situation. I use this. But it's currently not hooked up to my laptop. Oh, man. So let me ask you this, as far as future videos, not live streams, videos.
would we care about like a sim rig tour breakdown shit, garage breakdown, things like that? See, the only reason I never do those types of videos is because I always feel people are gonna act like it's coming from like narcissism and bragging, but like it's only talking about things that I like, you know? So I don't know, I never know like what's too far with that stuff. Because obviously I spend a lot of money in the garage, spend a lot of money in sim racing, and I want to nerd out and talk about this shit. But if it comes off like beating my chest, then I kind of want to stay away from it, you know? But I'll be honest with you, the little mobile rig that I showed you there, I call it my mobile rig. It's just because it's collapsible and I can't take it places. That I'm just as fond of as this one that I've got a lot more time and money into, because even though I can't move this one, that thing is so awesome and it's so rigid for being a collapsible rig. Also, I think I signed up with Next Level Racing to review products, like new products, and I think the first one that they're going to send me is a new entry level collapsible rig on their end, and I got to figure out how I want to do that review. Do I want to review it in a vacuum, or do I want to review it comparatively to what I think is the best collapsible rig on the market, which is the Playseat Formula, the one I showed you when I was walking in. I don't know. I never want to shit on people's product. Like, if it comes in at half the price, then I'd be like, okay, it can be half the quality and meet the same bar, you know? Because price is like, the guys who want the best, you just got to buy the best. But in anything else in the world, realistically, the price is reflected in the product review. So if they cost exactly the same and the Playseat dominates it, well, then the new one's a bad product. But if it's, let's just say it's, for the sake of math, it's twice as good, but it's, you know, the other product is half the cost, well, then they're the same to me, you know? Anyway. What'd you say? Can't handle feedback, don't work in feedback. Yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate that, Bran. I don't know if I agree with the bravery. Oh, never mind. Yeah, bravery. I don't know if I'm being brave, but I'll take it. I just like talking about things that I like, you know? Yeah, there's no doubt AI is. I do feel like with PMR, AI is being ignored, but I almost feel like that in like every sim. That's sort of like like I think it's. I don't think the AI in PMR is solely a PMR problem. I think it's an industry level problem. We're just, you know, we're more playing PMR, so we notice it more in the game that we're focusing on. But like if I jump into every title back to back and I compare against the AI, it's sad, but PMR's AI is more at the top of the better AI than a lot of these other titles. That's rough because it's not good, you know? It's just better than other things that are worse, you know? So I do feel like AI in general in the industry is being ignored. Is very much being it's just I shouldn't say it's being ignored. It's just the last thing being addressed, you know? So it is frustrating because like for me, if I want to show a game off to someone, like if I hey, check out this game I've been playing, I'll put them in the rig. I don't put them online to play with the idiots online because that'll turn anybody away. But I put them up against the AI, or I have them do solo lab. Like for case of PMR, I want to get my buddy back into PMR after the next update, so I want to put him in the rig solo, by himself, just doing laps. Because if I throw the AI at him, see, I can have fun with the AI, but not from like a try-hard standpoint. I can have fun with them just because I'm having fun playing the game and driving around and stuff. But I also don't care about running the AI at 100% either. But the AI it's not good. It's awful in Forza Horizon 6. Like, that's Forza Horizon 6 should be a shining example of how AI in racing games is just completely being ignored in terms of how good it is. Forza Horizon 6 has more money, time, developers, and effort into it than all of the actual Sims combined. And it has the most brain-dead broken AI that I've ever seen in a racing title. With the exception of early Rensport. That was the only thing I've seen that's worse. But I would actually now say that Rensport's AI in its current state is better than Forza Horizon. But, like, how is that possible? Did Milton, down in the basement, looking for his stapler, program the AI? Because that's the only person I can see doing the job. Ooh, what other games am I interested in? Let's do this. Hold on. Turn this around. Hold on. All right, so let's turn off tools. Okay. This is my Steam library. Sadly, most of these games I have not played because whenever there's a Steam sale of a game that I have interest in, I buy it with no intent to play it immediately. One of those things where I get bored enough. AC Black Flag, I'm probably going to play this on stream tomorrow. Don't know if anybody's going to give a shit, but I'm going to do it. Either that or I'm going to play Forza, one or the other. But I'm not jumping in any sim title until the next PMR. I need a genuine break from unfinished games, aka sim racing. AMS2, in my opinion, is the most finished one, except it doesn't have ranked play. And because it doesn't have ranked play, from a solo streaming standpoint, what really attracts people to watching sim racing is ranked. Like, typically, like, if I'm going to watch someone race in a sim on my end, like, I'm going to sit on the couch and watch someone and just relax and watch this stream, I want to watch someone competing in PvP in a situation with a little bit of suspense. Now, obviously, it's a video game, so there's not a lot of suspense, because it doesn't matter, but from an entertainment standpoint, I personally want to look at people play games where there is some risk to losing, you know? Which is where ranked comes in. I think this game, AMS2, right now, is currently hands down the best simulator on the market. It has its problems. Mainly, its main driving problem is lack of suspension. But other than that, it's my favorite game to race in. But if I were to fire this game up on stream, I have to rely on people seeing my stream, joining my game so we can do some racing, because there's no ranked list of racing to just join and race random people in a situation where it matters. That, to me, is the most entertaining form of sim racing. And I think a lot of people agree with that. In chat, what do you guys think? If you're going to watch someone sim race, what's your favorite thing to watch? Custom lobbies, where there's no consequences, it's just hopefully good racing. Ranked racing, where there's consequences, there's a rank. Racing the AI in single player. What's your favorite? Me personally, it's watching ranked. When the ranked play is good, of course. BeamNG, I've had no real time in this, as you can see, 27 minutes. I have all the Assettos. I don't have the newest Borderlands. There's the one that, what's his name here? You know what? Let's do this. There you go, Grumps. There you go, Grumps. That's for you, right there. Well, I agree there. Good racing. Yes, you want to watch good racing no matter what. But I like ranked because it feels like Like if you were to have good racing in customs and good racing in ranked, I prefer to watch ranked because again, there's a consequence to something, you know? There's not much of a consequence in customs. It's just, well, that particular amount of time I just wasted, you know? This game, guys, if you like single player games, I'm just saying, this game is art in video game form. Literally art. This game's also a great control. If you're a big Sam Lake fan like me, I can't wait for Resident to come out. When does that actually come out? September 24th. We'll be playing that on stream, by the way. In fact, I'm debating on playing Control prior to that game coming out. Yeah, I agree, DSM. It's just the sentiment of something feeling like it's on the line. Like, because in a custom lobby, when the race is over, nothing has changed. Hopefully you had fun, that's about it, right? But in ranked, there is something that follows you that is your proof of, like, effort, you know? This is my ranking in this particular game. And now, does that matter? No. Ranking in a video game, your I rating means literally nothing in life. However, in the vacuum of playing this game with people who also like playing the game, the ranking is kind of like, hey, look at my trophy collection in this game with my bros, you know? Cyberpunk, I only played it and I never actually finished it now that I think about it. This really, here's the thing. I don't know if this game is worth streaming. I personally don't think it is because I don't think anybody's going to care, but I need to play it because I haven't played it since it released. This is when I last actually turned it on, April 19th, 2024, which I believe was right after Phantom Liberty came out, and I stopped playing immediately because I got distracted with something else and I just never picked it back up again. But and look at that. Look at that download speed, boys. Almost a gig. Believe it or not, Steam is usually the culprit of that. And we're downloaded. Destiny 2, now that it's completely finished, I bought the rest of the game, so I got to finish that. 113 hours. I thought I would have had more than that. I must have put it all in Destiny 1, or maybe I put it in Destiny 2 on console. Doom the Dark Ages. I mean, right there, boys, achievements. Platinumed. The equivalent of PlayStation Platinum right there. If I did that for... No, I'm 6 shy on Eternal. I even have Euro Truck Simulator. Never played it. But I got it for like $5. So here we are. Anyway. Alright, so let's turn this around. And let's do a closeout here, because I am about done. My laptop's getting close to dead right now because it's been unplugged. Just trying to locate it back to its actual spot, so I don't have to move it again. Good enough. Anyway, oh, I'm absolutely interested in GTA 6. Duh. Duh. I'm gonna eat that game up on stream. That's gonna be like the only game that I'm actually going to hook up my PlayStation and capture card and stream it. Because I can't wait. The problem is it's probably gonna do terrible from a streaming standpoint because everybody on the planet is going to be streaming it. But I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be playing it, so I'm gonna stream it. Oh boy. All right. So anyway, that's about going to wrap this up. Just want to do something different. I know a couple of you guys want to see more of the shop stuff. I definitely want to start making more videos. The problem is that YouTube is now, its algorithm is so good. It's bad for the user, but it's so good that, and because YouTube is so saturated, like right now, I have 26 and change thousand subs. If I put out a video with a million, billion, fulfillion pounds of effort into it, and it's good, the YouTube algorithm of the subscribers, I'll be lucky if 200 people get notified I put up a video, and they've subscribed. Because the algorithm works so good now that your videos, previous videos, have to do good so it promotes your next video more. Now we're living in the YouTube world where if you have one bad video, that genuinely hurts you beyond the scope of that one video. To the point where you have to get like 10 good videos in a row for your content to start getting pushed to people, you know? And as someone who's been on YouTube for, I think I've been monetized on YouTube for almost 10 years now, but I don't put any effort into it, or I didn't for the longest time. There is nothing more frustrating than putting effort into a video that no one watches. It's like, why did I waste my time? You know? So I also like the live shit better. It's also because I'm lazy. But I do want to start making more long-form content, even though I'm still contemplating if long-form content even has a purpose on YouTube anymore, because shorts have taken over. The problem is that like 1,000 views on a long-form video actually gets you dollars, whereas 1,000 views on a short is still in the pennies. So there's benefit to the long-form stuff, but like I said, guys, remember that whole I only want to work XYZ amount of hours a week because I value time over money? So when it comes to content, I don't want to feel like I'm wasting my time. So I'm torn on what to do and how to do it, which is why I'm kind of throwing shit at the wall right now with streaming and seeing what sticks. This game, that game, the garage, this, ba, boom, bim, bam. You know? I want to stream doing some motorcycle pulls. I just don't know if I'm going to have good internet or good service where I would be doing the pulls. I don't know. Maybe I could start a league and stream the story. I am like most people right now where they want to start a league in PMR, but you can't start a league in a broken game that no one's playing. You just can't. It sucks that the driving is just so good in PMR, because it really is. But the foundation underneath the game is not there yet. And even if the game, like, here's the thing, there's always the conversation with PMR about, will people come back? Will it survive? There's going to be people who come back, and there's going to be people who don't come back, that write it off forever, will never try it again. I'm in it. I'm in it for at least the first year. I do believe, now if I'm wrong on this aspect, then I probably will stop playing the game completely. But what I've said for a while now is that by the end of year one with PMR, I expect to have one of the best possible racing titles you can get. And if that's the case, then I'm definitely going to continue playing it. But if by the end of year one, after I've gotten all the content that I've paid for, and plenty of time in the game, if it's still a shit show, I'm probably out. So, to retain me on the game, they've got exactly 4 months. They've got exactly 4 months to pull me back in. Because right now, if like they announced tomorrow the game is in its final state and we're no longer getting any more updates, I'll never play the game again. That's the honest truth. And it sucks to abandon that because, like I said, it's got some of the best driving you can possibly experience in sim racing. But the game itself is so problematic that it's hard to stick with that, you know? So for me, they've got me for another good 4 months of updates to pull me back in to want to stick around spending my time streaming the game. I'll always have the game, so I'll always be able to play it off stream whenever I want. But from like a streaming standpoint, as like being one of my go-to games, they got 4 months to get their shit kind of together, you know? And again, I like a lot of the guys that work there. I don't know all of them. I know a good handful. And I like those guys. But no matter how much I like you, if I hire you to build a kitchen and give you plenty of attempts to get the kitchen right, and you can't do it, I might still like you, but I'm not going to hire you anymore. So, anyway, that's how I am about all things. That's not just a PMR thing, but that just happens to be PMR's current state. So, that being said, you know, this was fun. I got to change my oil. I actually got to work, even though, you know, I'm working on my own shit today. And it's raining for the next 6 or 7 days. So I had to cancel a bunch of tuning appointments, which blows. Is what it is. This was fun. Tomorrow, let me ask you this, guys, for the remaining people still in here. Tomorrow's stream. Would you guys prefer I play Forza Horizon 6 or Black Flag? General speaking, more people will watch for Forza. People who don't comment, people who don't say anything in the chat, people who just lurk. They'll most likely want to watch Forza. The people who comment, the people who, you know, are involved with the stream, they'll more than likely want to watch Black Flag. So, and my whole thing is like, Black Flag is the next single player game that I am going to play. I just keep debating in my brain about if I want to do it off stream or on stream. Like I said, I don't want to waste my time. So, like, I don't care if there's not a lot of people watching the stream when I do Black Flag, but I only want to do it on stream if the people are watching are engaging in chat. Because, like, obviously, Grant, you know I've done plenty of motorcycle podcasts in the past where most of the podcasts had over 100 people. And to the point where we would have to ignore chat because everybody's going the whole time. That's where I started. Streaming games has actually not gotten anywhere near how successful the podcast was. But that was because I was relevant in the industry that I was in before starting the podcast surrounding that industry. Whereas with video games and sim racing, I'm a nobody or never was jumping into the streaming thing, you know? So, but I can tell you that from a streaming standpoint and being live, I've done it for a long time, and I would rather have a lot less people that are engaging and giving me someone to talk to and talk about what I'm doing versus a shit ton of people watching and everybody's lip sealed because they're just lurking. That's if I had to have a preference, you know? So we got 2 votes for Black Flag. What about you, Trev? Since you're still in here. What about you, Bran? So we got 3. Tom says Black Flag. Grant says Black Flag. Cool Mods Bro says Black Flag. It's the new one, obviously. Resynced. Not playing the original Black Flag. Playing the new one. But admittedly, it's always bumpy in the beginning, but I really do want to start streaming more single-player games. That way, when I do stream single-player games, there's just more going on in chat. It doesn't feel as pointless to stream it. Like, there is nothing more pointless in streaming than when you go live playing a game, no one's watching, no one's talking, and you're just live. Because live streams easily get the most views they're going to get during the live stream. Live streams do not get watched back outside of a very few select people. So if the stream has nobody watching it when you're live, there's no point even keeping that video up as a VOD. No one's going to watch it then either. You know? It'd be a really boring stream. Yeah, because that's what I was going to do. Going to do this week's season that just started. Admittedly, I only care about doing the first 20 points, Eagles, because it gets me the car I don't have. And the car that's 40 points away, I already have. So I do not care. The only other incentive I have to get more points is to get to the 500 points so I can get this stupid little achievement right here. Historic effort. No, sorry. Yeah, historic effort. Right here. Oh, battery's running low. It's about to die. Hold on. All right, we saved it. We saved it. Anyway, I've got 2 achievements left to essentially platinum Forza. And that is, I got to get rank 100 online, which is going to be so hard. It's going to be so much harder. And then the 500 total points through season festival racing to get that achievement. And then I've got every achievement in the game. The thing about Forza, I really enjoy the drive in Forza. Like, you build the right car in Forza, it's some of the most fun I've had in this sim. Even though it's an arcade game, but you have to build the right cars. Because if you just buy any car in Forza and you max it out with motor swap, they all feel the same. There's no uniqueness to them anymore. But if, like, right now, one of my favorite cars in the game is my C5Z06. It's a naturally aspirated original LS big motor car, rear-wheel drive. It's on slicks, but the slicks don't act like... I mean, it does. It's real. Believe it or not, it's a very realistic driving experience. That particular car with that particular setup. Like, if you want realistic and good driving in Forza, it is very key in the mods you choose in the game. Because you can very easily go way into arcadiness if you just do all the random shit you can do to the cars, you know? But anyway, the C5Z06, in fact, it's probably what I'm going to do after I eat some lunch here. I'm just going to joyride a little bit in that. But, yeah. Play a racing sim and set it up completely wrong and race it? Yeah. Well, I could do that in Forza. I will say in Forza, so, honestly, let's just, the hypothetical that PMR straightens its shit out and it goes back to being, like, my number 1 or 2 streamed game, right? Because I'm actively avoiding it on stream right now. Because we all know. You see the guys that are still streaming it, the shit that they go through. I don't want to be that stuck in that, you know, insane loop. But, if PMR straightens itself out, that will be one of my mains. And I do want to make Forza Horizon 6 one of my mainstream games. Because I do think there is a lot of community level fun and things to do that are worth streaming in Horizon. But there is zero worth streaming in Horizon if you are by yourself. Like, equivalent of dead game if you are by yourself in Forza Horizon 6 after you've completed all the single player stuff. That being said, though, the modding, the tracks, building cars requires a community of people to participate. But I have dabbled a little bit in that, and honestly, it reinvigorated me with Forza. But if I play Forza by myself with nothing to do, I quickly go, well, that was a fun 20 minutes. Time to do anything else. You know? I can probably do it later at like 10 grumps. From 6 to 10, I am with the wife, always, every day. So, and then weekends, I'm with her the whole time. So that's why I really don't do much streaming on the weekends. But she goes to bed at 10 every day, so Am I like playing Cody B on Forza? What's that? With Cody B on Forza. I don't know who that is. Is that someone who plays the game on stream or something, or? I suppose I could look it up. There's, like I said, there is a shit ton of fun to be had in Forza Horizon 6, but you have to make the fun. You have to create the fun and prepare the fun for the game. Is that It's Cody B? It's the only one I found. Forza Monthly interview. Yeah, so it looks like he streams. Also, too, I love the idea of spending a shit ton of money on, like, you know, sim racing stuff and then playing games like Forza, Car X, just to piss off the, like, purists of sim racing. Like, part of me wants to, well, get out my favorite here, my Formula Wheel, and then go play, like, the most child, like, what is it, like Rocket League or something. You know? Just purely to piss off the sim racers. And when I talk shit about sim racers, guys, I don't mean I'm not talking shit about, like, people who sim race. I'm talking shit about, like, the purest, know-it-all, like, sim racing connoisseur type, like iRacing, LMU, only these games. Like, shut the fuck up. Those people. The guys that are just doing it to have a good time, I'm one of those guys. So if I was talking shit to them, I'd be talking shit to myself as well. Yeah, he's got a lot of Forza. He streams a lot. He streams a lot. Yeah, if our paths ever cross, I'd give that a shot. He definitely got good views. How long does he stream for? 5 hours for 8K? That's a good stream. That's a good stream. It's definitely a good stream. Like, for me, an average good stream is 1,000 views. The bigger PMR streams will go as far as 5K inside of a few hours, but those are rare. And all those views come from during the live. They never happen after the fact. So he's getting between 4 and 9K views. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. There's a market for I think he streams in turn that off. Yeah, he streams in portrait. I've considered multi-streaming that way too, for the guys on their phones. But I hate the idea. I'm such a landscape person. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I record with my phone, I do this, not this. And I judge people who do this. Like, if they're trying to record a cool video and they're doing this, I'm like, oh, you're the TikTok brain people. But if I see him doing this, it's like, okay, cool. You actually like movies. You like watching cool shit on TV. You know? Maybe I'm being judgmental there, but that's how I feel. Anyway, all right, so you guys have voted. Tomorrow we'll do Black Flag. Black Flag it is. And then I am going to work on the side to figure out the Forza stuff, because I do want to stream Forza, but again, it has to be something that is entertaining to watch, but also entertaining to play. So you could call it a league. It'll be comparable to that, but it'll be guys just having a good time looking for clean. Because, like, I have raced in Forza Horizon 6 with a select group of people who like racing, and it's clean and fun. Classes of cars, things like that. But the general going on in Forza and then going online is a fucking joke. Spec racing is the best racing in that aspect, and it still sucks. It sucks because people drive like assholes. You saw it yesterday. Guy's just ramming you, won't let you pass, so he's just hitting you repeatedly. And there's no consequence for it, because it is technically an all-inclusive arcade game. But still, pisses me off. Just want to do some good racing in anything. Give me a game where I can just do some good racing, and I enjoy the driving, and I'm good. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the is it just called Clutch? That game has my interest. Even the story has my interest because I like stories. However, it's a car game, so it's probably going to be a really cheesy, shitty story. However, my positive thinking cap, which I don't put on very often, it is my Milwaukee hat after all, likes me to at least think that maybe, since it's not being made by like totally mainstream car idiots, that they'll do a decent level story with decent level. I like the idea. Like, so already the narrative of the game is you're a professional race car driver who he's involved in street racing, right? And I come from the street racing stuff, personally. I've done some stuff on track, but majority of my racing has been the illegal kind. So I really like that dynamic of, well, I like the street racing stuff with I don't want to say no rules, but it's not sanctioned for a reason, versus, but I'm also a professional race car driver. I don't want to lose that by getting in trouble doing this, but I enjoy doing the thing that it gets me in trouble more than the sanctioned thing, you know? So that part does have my interest. They're probably going to drop the ball. It's probably going to suck. And hopefully it makes it just at least a good video game. But there is part of me that goes, I feel like me, EJR, Evan, I could single-handedly write the story for that game and it'd be good. Not for everybody, but at least be better than what any stupid car game's going to produce for a story. But that's only because I'm massively into good stories. So I feel like my first ever car story, I could take some real world. That's another thing too I hate about video games and street racing. I have never played a video game that is real about street racing. Street racing is not like the underworld crime world that video games like to pretend it is. The amount of police that I have raced in real life, you would never know they're police. Because they're guys enjoying their hobby. They also happen to be cops. So, like, it's much more laid back and much more casual and much less illegal feeling than the news and all this shit seems to make street racing feel. So, like, for me, I could absolutely write the story for that game and it'd be good. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Obviously, I can't because I don't have the resources for that, or the avenues to do that, but I don't feel like it would be very hard to write that story, is what I'm trying to say. But I'm sure they'll fuck it up. Anyway, alright, I gotta shut the hell up. I gotta eat food. I'm parched. Guys, this was fun. I'd like to do more of these. Every once in a while I'll do them, maybe once a week type, jazz. But tomorrow we'll be back for Assassin's Creed. That's when I'll start at 11 o'clock tomorrow. I started late today because I wasn't sure if I was even going to stream or not. And then I said last minute, yeah, you know what, I'll do what I was going to do originally, the garage stuff. Tomorrow, Black Flag. Let's have a good time tomorrow. Until then, let me see if this laptop will end the stream properly or not, because I don't have anything actually installed on the laptop and it has to pull the videos from that. So let's see what happens when I click. Thanks for watching. Wow, it actually shows it. Look at that. All right, boys. You all have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow at 11 for Black Flag. Peace out.